You're listening to the Master Passive Income Podcast Network. Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. My name is Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you quit that JOB, that just over broke job, afford anything you want in life, and get generational wealth by investing in real estate. And in today's show, I'm bringing on an investor who for years had been trying to invest and then found the secret to investing, bought his first property, came to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, and then bought his second property, and now he's doing it all over again. He's going to show you how he did it and how you could do it as well. All right, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Master Passive Income Podcast, where we talk about investing in real estate with a special focus on making enough money so you can quit your job and live the dream life. And now, here is your host, Dustin Heiner.
What's up? Super blessed as always to have you here with me on the show. And if you have not started investing, number one, you need to get started. And I've been saying this for a very long time, that this is the best time ever to invest in real estate. Well, what I actually mean is that there's never a better time than 20 years ago. The next best time is literally today. I love that proverb. When is the best time to plant a tree? Well, it was 20 years ago. Next best time is literally today. So that's what we need to do, is plant that investing tree today. I do not want you 20 years from now saying, oh my goodness, I was listening to the Master Passive Income podcast every single week, but I never took action. I wish I would have 20 years ago bought my first property. I wish I would invest in real estate. I wish I would have went to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. I wish I would have done all this sort of stuff. No, instead, you need to be 20 years from now thinking, I'm so glad I bought my first property back 20 years ago. And now 30, 40, 50 properties later, we are financially independent. And I have friends doing it because I came to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. Now, that is what I want for you. 20 years from now, you're going to be thinking, I'm so glad I'm financially independent. I have generational wealth. I have money coming in without even working. And now I have freedom in my life. And on top of that, if you have ever thought, man, I really should go hang out with Dustin. He created this conference, the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. He created it for people just like me so that they can invest in real estate, connect with each other. Well, now is the time. In fact, this is the last ever Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. We've been doing it for 4 years now. And I realized with so many amazing things coming at Master Passive Income, something had to give, which means I had to stop doing something. Well, the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, if you've been thinking about it, stop thinking about it. You need to come. In fact, we have hundreds of real estate investors, and we have 40 plus experts coming to be there for you, to help you to invest. And if you do not come, there's not going to be another chance for you to come to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. I'm going to give you 20% off of your pass. Use the promo code MPI Podcast or MPI 20. I can't remember which one it is, but they're both going to work. Check the link in the description. Go to rubicon.com. Use MPI 20. That's probably the right one to use. Use MPI 20. I'm going to give you 20% off any of the passes. And this is going to catapult you into investing. In fact, the person that I'm interviewing today is one of my coaching students. He had been looking at real estate investing, wanting to invest in real estate for, many, many years. And then he started working with me. He got his first property, came to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. He's coming again. He came to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference and bought his second property super quick right after that. And he's now scaling his business. And this is not uncommon. In fact, I know without a shadow of doubt, you listening, you absolutely can change your life by real estate investing. We're not like anybody that I bring on, myself included, my students have now become coaches now because they've done so well. All of us, we're just regular, normal, everyday people, just like you. And now it's time for us as real estate investors, people in general, to really just help other people. That's what life is all about. How do we serve more people? And I'll tell you this, real estate's not about properties. Business is not about products. Life is not just about experiences. No, real estate is about people. Business is about people. Life is about people. When you get around the right people, when you build other people up, when you serve other people, Trust me, I'm speaking from experience. Your life will get so much better, and everybody else's life around you will get better. And most of you know I'm a Christ follower, read the Bible multiple times a day, and I take what Jesus Christ said completely serious, literal, and I live it in my life. In fact, he says in the Bible, in the book of James, it says, "Do not be hearers of the word, the Bible only, but be doers of the word." We need to do what the Bible tells us. In fact, Jesus tells us, "Do unto others as we would have them do unto us." And so that's why I'm giving, because when I first started investing back in 2006, there was nobody doing this. And they were charging 80 grand to teach something like this. And it was really, honestly, it was, I think it was a scam, but high dollar, low value. In fact, the things that they gave you, you could just bought in a book, but you paid 80 grand for it. Now I am here to help you. You come to my conference, the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, the last one ever, so that you can change your life. And honestly, I'm super pumped at the changes that are like literally everything's changing at Master Passive Income. And so many more amazing things are coming to help you be a better real estate investor and get even more success. One quick last thing. Before we get in the episode, I have a 375 unit apartment complex that I'm buying in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It is amazing that we got it for almost 50% of the market value. The seller is distressed, or not necessarily distressed, they just want out. They don't know how to manage the property. They are losing money on it. Well, we know how, and we're buying it, and we're gonna make it so much better, make so much more money. We could double the rents. That's why we're buying it for so low. We're gonna put some money to fix it up. We're raising $9.2 million. And in just 12 days, I kid you not, we opened it up 12 days later, from all of my students as well as investors listening to the podcast. I also had other people that were or are investing in my deal. Now we're literally 80% funded because it's such an amazing deal. If you want to invest in my own deal, now I'm not a syndicator. This is my own deal. This is my own property that I'm buying. If you want to invest with me, I want you to. And here's one thing I want you to realize. It's a bummer if I lose my own money, but I would hate. I would be so, it would be hurt me so bad to lose your money. So I want you to invest with us, because this is a deal that I'm investing 100 grand of my own money into this property. So check the link in the description. If you want to invest with me, you absolutely can. I think it's masterpassiveincome.com/invest with Dustin. I think that's what it is. But if you want to type it out. But I would love it if you actually invest with me, because my investors are getting great returns on our last deal, our last 355 unit apartment complex that we just got near Nashville. It is going so well that they just said, "Hey, we're jumping all over this one." It's a fantastic deal. Now, today, I'm bringing on one of my students who, after years of trying, has finally invested in real estate, found the expert way to do it after us at Master Passive Income showed him how to do it. And he's going to show you how he did it, and we're going to show you how you can do it as well. Here we go. Kyle, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Super awesome to be here, Dustin. Really excited to hopefully give a little bit back to MPI, who's given so much to me so far.
So first, you didn't start investing just like out of nowhere. Did you start listening to podcasts? Like, how'd you find me and then get you interested in investing in real estate?
Yeah, you came across on Spotify. I had about a 30-minute commute. So during that time, I was really trying to use my commute time as a university on wheels. And I came across the show Master Passive Income with this guy, Dustin Heiner, and he's, very high energy, very down to earth. He says, money's not the most important thing. I'm all about providing for my family, being a good Christian man, and helping others do the same. And I just really felt a lot of kinship to that message. The parables that you would repeat. I mean, they, just like you said, it happened. I heard an episode and I ended up binging the whole series.
That's fantastic. And then, because I've had many people say, "Dustin, I went to the beginning of the podcast. I listened to every single episode along the way." And I said, "That's fantastic, because as best I can, I'm trying to just coach you through the entire process, the entire way." And so I'm glad now, after listening to the podcast, you're investing. Talk us through your first deal. And in getting that first deal, how long did it take before you actually got that first deal. And then with the coaching with Charles Rose Jr., who's a fantastic investor, he's got 29 units now. It only took him 4 years, 3 to 4 years to get to 29 units. So he's doing amazingly well, but now he's helping you on top of that. So talk us through that first deal and then the coaching process.
Yeah, so it took me about 2 or 3 years after I first started listening and learning about investing before I was ready to get the coaching and really go. You talk about making sure that you have a decent nest egg to use when you go and purchase your first property. So I really kind of took the advice of paying yourself first, putting back round about 10% of your income and saving that to pursue what you want to invest in. During that time, I just absorbed as much information as I could from the podcast, and I got the free book, How to Quit Your Job with Rental Properties, and read through that, and that really helped me out as well. After about 3 years, and I had a decent amount saved up, I reached out. I got connected with Charles. I mean, that whole program from the success partner to the monthly group calls to the monthly calls with Charles and him being available via email. My first property was a bit unique. So my dad had
Talk us through that.
yeah. So my dad had purchased a flip home back around 2007. And I helped him with that as far as the rehab. Well,
And where was this at?
this was in Springfield, Illinois. Helped him with that, and of course the market crashed, and he kind of got stuck with it. In what I would imagine, if he were here with us, he would probably say, and just it was a pain in his side. It was it was vacant a lot of times. Sometimes it was rented. It was always a bother to him, it sounded like. Well, he ended up selling it to owner finance to my brother-in-law, but they never submitted that. And this was like 2 years down the line. I was going to be buying it from my brother-in-law, and instead of them actually going through with the purchase, and then that would be basically you would be paying for two transfers of ownership. We worked it out where I just bought it straight from my dad, and then he was paid out separately. So it really worked out. I mean, it could have been a pain, and not to say that it was just given to me either. My dad actually got multiple quotes from people to make sure that he was getting a good deal on it as well. So there's a little bit of negotiation with that, but got that fixed up and rented out right before RubeCon last year.
That is so cool. So Springfield, Illinois, and then you have it now rented out, and then you came to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, which you're coming again this year, if I remember
Yep.
correctly, right?
That's right.
Love it. And you're bringing your 8-year-old son, which is fantastic. And my daughter, who's 16 years old now, just bought her first rental property. I think it was last month, like January. No, it was January. So 2 months ago. So she bought her first rental property at 16 years old, took her, life savings. And obviously I'm going to teach her and coach her. That's the main thing was
Yeah.
I said, if we're going to do this, you're going to go through just like every other student. Then I'm going to coach you through the process. And so it's worked out so well for her. And so that's my prayer for everybody listening. And obviously for you as well, is that we create generational wealth. And we also even teach our kids how to do this and change their lives as well. Okay, so this first property, you have it now. Can you share what the purchase price was, how much it's renting for, how much passive income you're making?
Yeah. So the purchase price was $47,000. Rehab was, I believe, about 10,000 on that one. So total monthly expenses were around $660, I want to say. I'm renting it out currently for $1,030, and it appraised for 96 during the purchase. So after the improvements, I bet it's probably over 100,000 now.
Whew, that is fantastic. And I want to pause for just a quick second and say thank you so much for listening to the show. If you've gotten anything out of the show, I would appreciate it if you went to anywhere that you listen to, let's say Apple or Spotify or wherever, and leave a 5-star review. Honestly, I really appreciate you leaving an honest review. I just love giving all this information out, and I want to see you succeed. Also, send this to one person. Just tell one person, say, hey, Dustin wants to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. You need to listen to this because it's going to change your life. Lastly, get my real estate investing course completely for free. Text the word rental, RENTAL, rental to 33777. Rental to 33777. I'll literally give you my course showing you everything in the business so that you can become financially independent. Okay, so you got this first property now, you got it rented, and then now you're making passive income. You also have a new property, right? You have 2 properties now. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep. I just so it's kind of crazy the way that it happened. I refinanced after I had the original one. So there was a 12-month seasoning period. So 13 months after I originally purchased, I pulled some of that equity out and used it to purchase a second property in Central Illinois. This one's in Jacksonville, and it came with a whole half-acre lot. So it's been a fun kind of thought experiment to figure out what's going to happen with that. Right after I purchased that house, I tested and I became a licensed real estate agent and property manager also.
Are you managing these yourself?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Okay.
managing these myself. So kind of crazy story. I'm not the most, I'm probably more on the introverted side of the equation, but I did some local networking and met another investor who had about 10 properties and just super laid back guy, very easy to talk to, long hair, just cool, plays guitar, just a really down to earth guy. And he was kind enough to talk shop with me. We talked podcast and investing. He introduced me to his property manager that he had just found, who's also an investor. He's got like 65 properties or something. He's a rock star. Just opened up his own agency where he does property management and works with investors. And I was just talking to him, just getting, like you said, building my business, making sure that I have the correct team members. And he saw something in me that he thought that I would be good at working with investors to help find and manage their properties. So, that was kind of the start of that whole process.
Wow. So now you're managing your properties. Do you have other properties that you've taken on as well?
So it's all happening real quick. I've only been licensed for a couple months now, but I've got such a great support system. Whenever I do get started, I'm going to be working very closely with him to make sure that whoever I'm working with gets the very best information and service.
So if any of our students, because we have lots and lots of students, if they're looking for a new area to invest, we look all over the country. We like the Midwest is fantastic, and so should we start pushing them over to you so you can start managing their properties?
Absolutely, I would love to connect them with Matt Wardell at Central State Realty, and me, and I would love to start helping folks kind of follow that same path.
That's awesome. And you know what's great too? You came into the property management as an investor perspective. A lot of people, they just say, hey, let me just start managing properties. They don't really know what it's like being an investor or having that perspective. And so and as well as our property managers are the quarterbacks of our team. Like they make sure that we're making money, they protect our money, they protect the property, they do everything for us. And so we need to find really good property managers.
Yes.
And one thing that I love to do is in sharing with all my students, helping them learn how to find the right property manager, give them just a list of 20 plus questions and answers that we should be asking property managers before we hire them so that we know we're getting into a good relationship with a good property manager. So you already know all these things. You already know what investors expect, which that is so exciting. I'm very, 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 very pumped that you are taking this on and then we can send our students to you. Okay. So along with that, we talk about in building a business, we want to continually scale our business to buy new properties. I
Yep.
love that you refinance, pull the cash out to buy this next property, which is really, really terrific. And the 12-month waiting period or the seasoning period, I'm actually finding mortgage companies now where it's a 3-month waiting period or seasoning
Oh,
period, which is like, oh my goodness, that's so fast. And so like right now, I bought 3 single family homes recently, and one of
Yeah.
them is my daughter's. And we're now refinancing it, pulling the cash out only 3 months. Like 3 months is the seasoning period. Now we can pull that cash back out to buy more properties, which is super awesome. Now, what is your perspective? Like, how are you now trying to scale? Because we need to get more deals, we need to get more funding and all that sort of stuff. But how are you now scaling your business?
Yeah. So, that burst strategy for sure is kind of what I'm focusing on, kind of really just honing in on. God bless Charles. He talked to me about hard money and how it's not really hard.
It's not
But
scary, that's for sure.
right, exactly. Now my wife. This is another reason why I related to you so much when I started listening to MPI is because my wife is also very conservative minded. She's the saver of the family, and it took a lot of convincing to get her on board with all this. But I'll tell you what, this second one was. She's like, "Oh, okay." It was the way that you talk about it, where it's like, "Hey, honey, they just accepted the offer that I put on." Oh, okay, yeah, cool. It happened very quick, and I really so you showed her a lot of attention when we went to RubeCon. We talked to somebody, a volunteer on your team, and they brought you over, saying, well, it took some convincing even to get her to come to RubeCon. She's like, no, it's not really my thing. It's like, well, give it a chance. It's in this really awesome, Union Station, and it'll just be kind of a couples weekend for us. And got her out there, and she talked to you, and you introduced her to Allie, the agent, and they really hit it off. And just that was something that I could relate to you, and it's been something that we had to work through, but it's going pretty well.
That's fantastic. Now, I love that your wife was helping you along this in a sense, not like doing all the work and all this stuff, but she has a mindset of maybe let's make sure you're not jumping too fast. Like moving. That's
Yes.
one thing that my wife made sure was
Yes.
like, hey, you've bought too many properties in a row. Like we're really thin on money right now. So maybe we should. And so I'm like, okay, I guess you're probably right. And I hold back, but she helps. And that's one great thing about having a spouse that's also just complimentary, is that right? Compliments you in
So,
the
yeah,
ones
yeah,
that
yeah.
like goes forward and really
Traits.
really fast, and the other one is kind of like, well, let's make sure we don't drop anything and make everything fall apart, because like, yeah, I'm the gung-ho person, and my wife makes sure things don't fall apart. So yeah, my wife's fantastic. Okay, so and scaling the business, hard money's fantastic. We also can do DSCR loans, which are really, really terrific. And so, are you going to continually build in those two cities? You said Jacksonville, I believe, and Springfield. Are you going to start venturing out? Like, what's your process finding the next properties?
I would love to venture out to different states eventually. Right now, kind of building that business locally, especially with the opportunity to be working with some out of state investors in my area. I've heard some of your students talk about, Illinois. It might not be the most landlord friendly state, but because of that, there's some opportunities that not everybody's looking at. So, Jacksonville's been a really hot market. Dollars seem to go a little bit farther there than they do in the capital city of Springfield.
Well, talk to me through the Jacksonville. Like, what's the price point that you could find normal properties, and how much you could rent it for?
Yeah. So, if you don't mind, I can kind of run through the one that I just got here.
Please.
I bought it 19 and a half, 19.5.
Wow.
I everybody was surprised that I got a. You mind? I gotta let my dog out real quick. I'm
Please go
sorry.
right ahead.
Thank you.
$19,000. So I haven't seen that for a while, getting prices that low. And so for you listening, I absolutely bought my first property. I want to say it was like $15,000, but this is back in 2006 when I first started investing. And so you got Kyle buying his house for $19,000. That seems rather low. Like, is it a fixer upper? Like, talk to us through this deal.
It's a single bedroom, so it's like 700 square feet. but it comes with a whole half-acre lot next door to it. So I need to figure out what to do with that. Pay 40% down on it. I'll have it 100% paid off in 3 years if I don't refinance it before then.
What's
Um,
so you got a mortgage on it?
yes. Yep.
What's the total price of the house?
19.5.
So, but you with 19,500 dollars. So you got a mortgage? Like, how'd you get a loan for that?
Yeah, it was the same. I bought it through my LLC. So yeah, the first one when I refinanced it, just like you show us exactly how to do, I bought it in my personal name. When I refinanced it into the LLC. The second one I was able to get directly from the LLC, and it was a 3-year loan.
Oh, was it
Um,
the hard money loan?
no, it was through a bank. It was through the bank
Wow.
that I got
Which bank
my.
is it?
It's kind of a small town bank. It's Carrollton Bank.
Perfect. I think local regional banks are fantastic because they are, in the city, they're in the area. And so they would love to keep the money inside there and build up the city and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's fantastic. But okay, you got a 3-year loan on it.
Yep,
And so you how much was the down payment? You said 40%.
I put 40% down.
And
Yes,
then obviously, if you're buying it for 19.5, you put 40% down. Was that come out to like 7
like
grand, something like that?
yeah, it's like a 11 or 12,000, 11 something.
Oh my
Is
goodness.
the
And so,
remainder.
I mean, I get people asking me all the time, well, Dustin, don't I need like $50,000 to buy my first property? I'm like, no, no. There's plenty of places where you can actually buy these properties for much lower total amount. Now, how much passive income or cash flow are you making on this property?
So I'm still in the rehab portion of it, but projected to make between 8 and 850 a month.
Wow.
So potential would be maybe $400 in passive income after insurance and taxes and mortgage and all that. And
Man, that's
I'll have a completely
fantastic.
paid off property in 3 years.
Are these properties like, is it normal for them to be this inexpensive in this area?
So I was looking at a couple other ones on the block that were, probably would sell in the 30s. There's another one that sold right after I bought mine in the mid 20s. Um, so and it's not the worst part of town either. It's probably maybe a C or a C plus neighborhood, but it's just working class. I feel comfortable walking around. I've met the neighbors, and there's
Is it
work
better
being
than Springfield?
done. As far as condition, or
Well, no, no, sorry, the city. Which city would you say is a little better for investors? Is it Springfield? Is it more this Jacksonville?
Jacksonville, I think it has so much potential. I've been in Springfield, lived in Springfield, went to school here all through my school years, and there are opportunities, but like I said, just the cost of entry seems to be significantly less 40 miles down the road.
Well, Kyle, so I got plenty more questions, but I know somebody's listening is like, man, I really wish I could just connect with Kyle. Do you want to give him an email address or something to connect you? And then we got plenty more questions.
Yeah, so the easiest way, the easiest email would be Kyle Lucas at gmail.com, and that's KYLELUKAS. I'm sure the Kyle Lucas with the C is getting tired of getting all the emails for me, but yeah, Kyle Lucas with a K at gmail.com. You can also find me at centralstaterealty.net. I'll be on there with a little bit of my backstory, and I do have a real estate email, Kyle Lukaszewski at centralstaterealty.net, but by the time you type all that in, your fingers will probably be all cramped up. So
I love it. Okay, Kyle. So more questions for you. So along the way that you've done this, you build the business, you found the properties, like now you're able to scale. What lessons have you learned? Not failures yet, because I'm going to guess that, but like what
yeah,
lessons have you learned along the way that we should know?
uh, you're gonna make mistakes. Just do. But while you're okay, so I talk to so many people because I'm trying to spread the message around and help people when they seem like they're open to some new perspectives and want to improve themselves. You don't have to do it as soon as you start learning about it. The thing to do, like I said, I tell people all the time, my life changed when I started putting back that 10% of my income to use as monopoly money. It's not money that I'm ever going to take out. It's what I have to play with, as in investing. And I'm just going to keep, I'm not spending any of the income that I get from my rental properties on anything except the rental property business. So long as you kind of get those mind frames going, the second best time to plant a tree is right now. You will not regret getting coaching. You will not regret it, especially with Master Passive Income. I've done other online training courses, and they have value, but nothing has been more rewarding than signing up with Charles and the rest of the team.
Man, that's fantastic. I love it. Have you come across any problems that you had to hurdles you got to go over, like maybe you had a failure or something like that? But is there anything that you've encountered that you had to figure out how to fix the problem? And then is there anything you could share like that?
Yeah. So when I bought my first property, I'm dealing with family there, and there was a time where things got a little tense, and it seemed like it was going to strain the relationship between family members for this transaction. And my kind of stance on all of it was, I'd rather cancel this whole thing rather than damage some relationship between people that I care about. So, I mean, this is, these are big decisions.
Well, that's how everything is hopefully pointing to somebody listening, for you listening. We're just regular everyday people. Like we're just like your next door neighbor that really figured something out. And then we just love to share that this is something that everybody can do. It's not something you have to be born with lots of money, born with lots of connections, or anything like that. In fact, I love when I work with students and help them to realize that no matter who they are, number one, they can do it. But number two, they also have a strategic advantage that other people don't have. They might be thinking, well, Dustin, well, you had this when you got started. You had this, or you had this. Well, I'll tell you, I didn't have much. I didn't have time. I didn't have money, and I didn't have any experience, but I did it. I started doing it step by step. And what it comes down to is that everybody has these excuses that they have in their head. Like, well, Kyle had his family. He had his, no, trust me, you start coaching with us, I will point out the strategic advantage that you specifically have, and we'll just talk through it. We'll work through it. So everybody that comes to Master Passive Income, it's like we're just regular people trying to help each other out.
Yep, exactly. We're just regular people trying to help each other out.
Well, let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
So in this process of buying that first property, you came to the Real Estate Wealth Business Conference, and then you now have two properties now, you're fixing it up. How was the process with rehabbing or fixing up the property? Did you hire a contractor? Are you doing any work yourself? Like what's the process there?
Yeah, so I'm doing all the dummy stuff, and I'm involving my family with that too. So getting a quote for anything plumbing, we have to open up a wall and put an outlet in. But like me and my son, we're doing the tear out, we're doing the painting, bringing in some friends just for fun, and give them a little bit of money on their day off just to help me out tearing out some floor. And then I'm going to call in the professionals for the windows and the electrical and the plumbing and that type of thing. Like I said, there's not much. There's a little bit of foundation that needs a mason. So obviously I'm not going to be doing that. But Matt, my property manager and the owner of the brokerage that I'm associated with now, he's got teams of guys that are going to be coming out this week and getting going on all of that.
Man, that's terrific. So now that you're wife, and you had now obviously your son is now helping a part of it. Love that he's come to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. That's going to be such a fantastic, eye-opening experience, hopefully for him. I know. So my three older ones are coming and they're helping. They're manning the registration table to running around setting things up, and so in the end, I just figure the best thing that we can do is set up our children for success. I mean,
Yes.
it's great that I have financial freedom. I absolutely love it. But in the end, I want my kids and then their kids to also be there. And so, be financially free, not have
Yeah.
to work for somebody else. But at the same time, I want them to understand the process. I want to teach them how to do it so that they are also learning how to invest in real estate so they don't depend on me. And so every year, hopefully my kids will keep buying the next property and the next property, because everybody listening, like, you need to realize that finances are not your problem. Like, you think, oh, I don't have any money to buy my first property. Like, well, that's not the problem. Your lack of options are. Like, you need to know what options are out there. And that's something we love to do with our students, is show all these options. And then we can coach you through the process of, like, okay, let's figure out, like, out of the 20 plus ways that I've used to get creative financing money to buy properties,
Mm.
it's like, let's figure out which one fits for you. And then let's make sure that we can get you down that path of getting this money to buy the property. Man, Kyle, so this has been terrific. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that I might have missed, or like maybe some idea of you scaling or anything like that?
Just that, all this happened when I was putting in over 40 hours a week. When I started listening, I was a landscape foreman in the field. So, in dirt and rock all day and all that. And through that, I transitioned into more of a dealership role. But even that, that's a grind, man. That's 50, 60 hours and no overtime and all that. But you know what else I had? I had a printer and a computer, and I had these other things that I can kind of build my business. There's like you said, everybody's got a hand of cards, and you just got to learn how to play your hand of cards the best and the best of your ability, and you'll come out well.
Awesome. Hey, did you hear that Charles, he and his wife just had their second child?
I did, yeah. And Charles just had a birthday, I think. What was it, last week? Or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exciting, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so they're
awesome.
doing very, very well. He's taking a little bit of time off to obviously be with the baby, but two girls now. And I mean, just, I love that. Well, number one, me being a Christ follower, I love working with other Christ followers as well. I love working with everybody, but at the same time, any Christ followers, like, hey, like, we have the same, similar understanding, outlook, and
Yes.
stuff. So let's definitely work together. But honestly, anybody and everybody can invest. And so I love working with all these different type of people, like every walk of life. Every single person can invest. And I think you're 100% right that as you're building your business, you're going to find a strategic advantage that you have. But man, Kyle, this has been great. So I want people to connect with you. We already gave them your email address. Do you have like a social media that they can follow on as well?
Yeah. So Kyle Lucas, Lukas on Facebook. Yeah, that and LinkedIn. I'm Kyle Lukaszewski. I spelled the whole last name there. So that's Lukaszewski.
And you guys need to come to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference and be with Kyle, myself, his wife, and kid. So Kyle, I released this last episode that I just released on the Master Passive Income podcast. Did you hear that last one?
Not the very last one.
Okay,
Not
so
the
I'm
very
going to tell you, and because I just released to everybody, this is going to be the last Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. This is the last one, and we've done it for 4 years now. And the reason why is because I have amazing things coming that I have to close this down in order to be able to do more things.
Mm,
And I'm going to unveil the entire picture of what everything's going on, Master Passive Income, the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, and all those sort of things. I'm going to unveil everything at the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. So I'm glad you're going to be there so you can hear
yep.
everything that we're doing. I'm so excited. In fact, I haven't been this excited since I started RootCon in 2022. Whereas now it's like, now this is a new growth, a new evolution of how we can help people to
Yeah.
invest in real estate. And so, Kyle, I'm super pumped you're going to be able to hang out with me at RootCon as well as your family. But hey, man, thank you so much for being on the show, giving people encouragement, showing them that honestly, regular everyday people can do this.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything that you do. Super excited. Get a VIP ticket to RootCon. You won't regret it. I didn't get one last year. I got one this year. hopefully I'll be volunteering out there with you. And I believe that my mentor and his wife might be coming as well.
Oh man, that'd be so great.
Yeah.
Good. Kyle, hey, thank you so much. And tell your wife I said hi, and I'll see you guys next month.
All right. We'll see you then, Dustin. Thank you so much for having me.
And that is it for today. Go ahead and get my free real estate investing course. Text the word rental to 33777. RENTAL to 33777. You can also join my Real Estate Wealth Builders group coaching. Get all my courses. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next show. See ya.